Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Nobody was live, so I thought, I'll go live. Need a break. Wanted to look at some stuff that I found last night that I thought was interesting. Let's go comments. I'm going to play something that amuses me while I wait for some people to trickle in here. How do you like that? All right, I'm going to pull up a video. We're going to watch some videos. This is Harlem, New York City in the 1930s. What I find fascinating about this is in the 1930s, it's really unusual to film something like this. Movies at that time showed everybody living in homes that only 1% of the population could afford. They showed almost an idealized version of American life. So for somebody to go out into a Black community, what they would have called Negro at the time, that seems to me unusual. What were they thinking? Why did they think this is worth documenting? I'm glad that they did. People still use horses. This is 1939. Everybody wore hats. So you look at this, everybody is wearing a hat. And that was true. That was true 20 years earlier. And that was true really up until about the time that John F. Kennedy was elected president. I believe he was the first president to go out, the first US president to go out in public without a hat on. I just realized lose mic. My microphone was not set up. So it's possible nobody heard a thing. Good. Mic test. Okay. All right, go back. I'll go back a little. Okay. I don't know if you can see this. There's a sign. The law, it says, keep your sidewalk clean, never sweep refuse, that's trash, into street, and at the top, the law. And this is Harlem. You notice how clean it is? You don't see graffiti, you don't see trash, you don't see homeless encampments. Well, this was probably shot in black and white, and it's been colorized. So the colors are really not accurate. That says Harlem River houses Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was president at the time. This is probably public housing, what we're looking at here. Public housing in New York City in 1939. And I'm going to guess, I'm pretty sure that's the Brooklyn Bridge in the background. This is probably public housing under construction. They probably had really great hopes at that time that this would be a good solution. Again, I'll bet this was public housing and under construction just before World War II, 1939. Okay, I'm going to switch to another video. This is San Francisco in 1906. Again, this would have been shot in black and white, and they've added, with technology, they've added color, colorized it. What do you see? Predecessor to light rail, right? Streetcars. Streets are remarkably clean. Because they were still using horses, and horses poop. Now what you don't see, you don't see any traffic lights. I don't even see stop signs. Yeah, lots of horses. And no lanes. Now, you know, film at that time, the movies were silent movies. So I think all the sound that we're hearing now has been added. It's they wanted to add some kind of ambient background noise to make it, you know, seem realistic, but I don't think this was the sound that the cameraman was recording. This was probably a silent movie. You see, that guy had to run through traffic to get on the streetcar. If you just joined, this is San Francisco in 1906. And I mean, look what just went on there. There's people just crossed right in front of somebody else, right into the oncoming traffic. Like everybody's just kind of going wherever they want to go. There's no stop signs. There's no traffic lights. Look at this shit. Just cross anywhere. Anywhere you feel like driving across the street. Just look at this. It's absolute. Holy shit. That horse just crossed right in front of the streetcar. And that guy crossed between two streetcars. I wonder how many accidents there were. I wonder how many people got hit. It's like there's no rules. I think I would have liked it back then. And everybody's wearing hats. Everyone's wearing hats. Men wore hats. Women wore hats in public. That's some kind of a streetcar that's on tires. Was that a track? Is there a track there? Yeah, it looks like there was a track. But like everybody, look at all the jaywalking. People just walk anywhere they want. People stand in the street, walk across the street, cross anywhere they want. Not just at the intersections. They just cross in the middle of the block. Got to fast forward a little bit. I know. There you go. More crossing wherever they want. Okay, they did have license plates on the cars, but if you had a horse, you didn't need a license plate. Horse and buggy. I love the way they've remastered these old videos. That guy waved at the camera. All right, let's fast forward to the 1960s. Fast forward to the 1960s. Pause that. This is Los Angeles. And when this film starts out, you see a couple, there's a newer car. I think that's it's not an Impala. But what I noticed in this video is it looks like the 1950s for the most part. You see a few cars, clearly 1960s models, but it's like now, you go walk out on the street, you're you're seeing cars that are 5 years old, 10 years old. That looks like a 1958, circa 58. This is 76 station. And again, it's really clean. Sidewalks, street, no trash, no graffiti. Not a lot of people either. I wonder what time of day, or this is LA, everybody's driving, right? No, it doesn't look too crowded. It might be early in the morning. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here, jump ahead. This was a time when people shopped in stores that had a storefront right on the street. I guess you still have that in downtowns. Wow. Fins. Again, I wonder what motivated somebody to make this film, to just drive around filming nothing in particular. Just filming life on the streets. Now here you notice the cars are a lot older. This really looks like the 1950s because these are all 1950s and even like, wow, check that out. That's like 1930s. Hey, Hubie. Los Angeles and Hollywood in 1960s. Okay, I'm gonna switch, go way back in time. So this is interesting. So everybody's wearing these hats. I don't know what this style of hat is. It looks like a straw hat, but all the men are wearing this style hat. This is 1911 in New York City, and men all wore hats. So I said earlier, guys wore hats until President Kennedy, 1960, was the first president to ever appear in public without a hat on. Before that, that's you weren't really properly dressed if you went out in public without a hat. Women, that's like beyond a hat. That's like it's an entire entertainment center going on their heads. But yeah, these guys all wear that style hat, except for this guy. Look at him. I like that with the handle, the mustache, and that big bowler. And this has been colorized. Here they added some music. It would have been a silent movie. Now this kind of cap, which you still see today, there's few people wearing that. That double-breasted jacket. New York City in 1911. That was the year that the income tax was introduced in the United States under, I think, Woodrow Wilson. At this point, the Empire State Building hadn't been built. All right, we're gonna switch. And go to the beach in the 1920s. Yeah, that's beach attire there.
Oh dear. Well, you kept it straight. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Whoa. The
That's your knife now, Maybe I cut that out. Please. Don't make one. Hello. You can always see my reflection. Évidemment. C'est vrai? Sur la plage.
Oh my goodness, that's scandalous. Must be Europe. I think some of this was shot. Those were in those French.
Харчування, я думаю, що чай треба. Ой, туди-сюди. Дуже багато. Далі. Мені трошки. Майже не встигаю. Чайно скупчу.
Atlantic City in 1919. Wow, there's a guy without a hat on. Well, he's at the beach, so maybe it's okay. Check this out. People are at the beach. They're wearing a lot of clothing. Jackets, matching pants, wearing suits. Look, and somebody with an umbrella, and it's not raining. Today, if you see somebody with an umbrella and it's not raining, they're probably Antifa.
goes. I had to hit it hard. Are you Captain Christ? Oh dear. Oh dear. That's all.
Hey, this is Los Angeles in the early 1950s. I recognize that brand name. Still around, Carnation. Okay, so things are a little more civilized than that video from San Francisco in 1906. There are lanes, there are traffic lights, not much of a light. It's that one tiny little light dangling there. No crosswalks, no bike lanes. Hey, Fat Patriot. And again, I'm wondering what inspired somebody to do this, to shoot a video just driving around LA. Guy's not exactly in any lane at all. Sky's kind of smoggy looking. I guess at this time there were still some old groves, orange groves. That's what we're looking. They look kind of overgrown though, so maybe that's not an orange grove. A little earlier, it looked like it might be. Oh, that's cool, that old gas station. Yeah, that's also a gas station. They call them service stations. My grandfather owned one, and back in these times, they would change tires and change your oil and do all of that. They didn't just didn't sell just gas. Full service. Let's jump ahead a little bit here, change the view. Check out these old, are those buses? This one's not so interesting to me. I'm gonna move on to Chicago. Chicago in the 1930s. During the Depression. And I guess you still had bootlegging going on, prohibition. Couldn't drink alcohol, couldn't buy alcohol or drink in public, not legally. This is the first of all of these videos we've seen where it's not clean. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining. There's some downtown stuff. Like to see some people. There. Must be a school. Okay, so the kids aren't wearing hats. Oh my. Yeah, it looks like somebody decided to film the rough part of town. And to be sure, that existed, and there was no. They really didn't have the kind of social safety net that we have today. Look at that guy. But even the bums were well dressed. I shouldn't say bums, but maybe this guy unemployed, homeless. I don't know. But he's nodding off. See that today. This is Chicago. Chicago in the 1930s. We've been looking at San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York. That's like the fentanyl thing. That's what you saw that today, you'd be like, yeah, it's Fenty. They burned a lot of film up on this. Now, this is the first film we've seen today with a lot of trash in the street. Most of the cities, especially back like in 1911 period, were quite clean. Chicago's always been a rough town. If any of those kids are still alive today, they'd be close to 100 years old or more. Another thing I think about when I watch these old videos, none of these people are alive today. This thing a baby. That's cute. Well, this was the Depression, 25% unemployment rate. And that didn't account for all the people who were maybe not working full time, partially laid off, maybe just working a few days a week, working when there was work. Real rate of underemployment would have been much higher. Depression lasted for really 10 years. That's why I laugh. People talk about, oh, the Great Recession. Nothing like that. School. Mark Sheridan is cool. I wonder who Mark Sheridan was. All right, gonna move on to New York in the 1950s. Is that Grand Central Station? New York City in the 1950s. There's like an Asian gentleman. Everybody else that I've seen so far in that shot was white. Just saying. Yeah, people still were using horses in the 1950s. Pretty rare, but I'm going to do maybe one more and kind of change the flavor a little bit. See what else we got in New York. Oh, that looks interesting. Yeah, I like seeing how people dress. Well, that has to be Central Park. This is what kids did before they had phones. this video says 1940s and 50s, but I think there's some 60s crept in there. Oh yeah, I see knees. That's got to be the 60s. We got one more, and then I'm going to go get some lunch. This is the women's suffragette movement. So I thought we'd look at some old protest videos. Maybe I'll do a whole thing on old protest videos. I have to find a bunch of old protest videos. This is when women were fighting for the right to vote. And they said, you know, if women get the vote, there'll be no more wars because men start all the wars. How'd that work out? Now we're back to that period where men all wore those straw hats with a band on them. Everybody's got the same kind of hat. Yeah, not a lot of sound with this. I was hoping for more footage of people marching and doing stuff. Yeah, they're just celebrating. All right, I'm gonna do one more. This is just a compilation of old protest videos. Look at that. That's probably, she was probably in the women's suffragette movement. Those look like maybe they're English bobbies.
For the women of this country.
Poverty and alienation.
All right. I started watching some of these last night, and I thought it was really interesting, especially the old footage from New York City and San Francisco and all. So maybe I'll do this again. We'll see how well this little video does. I'm gonna go get some lunch. Y'all have a great day. Have a happy Thursday, and thanks for joining. Thanks for watching the channel. Bye now.